Nightwing number 11, written by Kyle Higgins, art by Andre Guinaldo. Last issue left off with Nightwing stumbling across the Republic of Tomorrow, led by their leader Paragon, who, I don't know, wants to save the city by killing Nightwing, because Nightwing is framed for killing possibly two members of the gang themselves. Anyway, Nightwing, he gets to his feet and he's like, alright guys, I bet I can't convince you to go ahead and just leave, right? And of course they don't. So he's like, all right, well, worth a try. So then they get into just this giant ass fight scene. And Nightwing keeps on telling him, like, hey, look, if you guys are actually working like to improve the city, we're on the same side here. I didn't kill your brothers in arms or whatever. I just want to make that very clear to you. But they go about just keep on shooting at him, keep on attacking. And Paragon just goes on these long-winded diatribes of like, oh, we will strike back against the false idols that appoint themselves as saviors, who attract death and worship destruction. So, who cares? Point being is that at one point, Nightwing is hiding behind a piece of debris as he's giving one of these monologues, and Nightwing shoots a sonic disruptor thing in order to knock everybody out, more or less. And while Nightwing has ear dampeners, also Paragon has some level of dealing with it as well. Because when Nightwing jumps out, Paragon attacks, and they're up in a clock tower, and the clock face literally just falls out of the tower as he attacks. So Nightwing sets up like a bungee cord in order to go down, and he's like, all right, I can't, it's falling too fast, I can't manage to catch up with it, so I just have to disperse it before it hits the crowd beneath. And he shoots some explosives and just blows it up. And everyone underneath is just like, what the heck? What's going on around here? And he's like, sorry, I can't stay to talk. I'm literally on a bungee cord. Boing. And he goes back up. And by the time he gets back up there, literally they're all gone. And he's like, all right, cool. So the guy almost drops a clock on the middle of a bunch of people down in Gotham. But he's the hero here, of course. So we cut over to Gotham City Police Department, where we have Detective Nye, the one who is really got to stick up his ass about implicating Nightwing here. And Nightwing just goes to visit him. It's just like, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, I hope you know that I'm not involved in that. And now he's like, well, I've got my version of events, and they're all saying that you're definitely the one who's behind it. The entire reason Nightwing's doing this is just to basically do a scan on his cell phone and see if he's contacting anyone and like being able to put a trace on it and whatnot. So they just get into an argument about whether or not who's the real villain here, or whatever. And then we cut back over to the Republic of Tomorrow and Paragon, who have made their way down to the sewer system to hide. And basically everyone in the Republic is like, okay, look, we're all really roughed up here. I thought this was going to be like something cool, but I can't hear out of my left ear anymore. And Vinny lost a leg. So I'm done. I quit. And a lot of people are saying the exact same things. And Paragon's like, hey, you all joined because Batman ruined your life in some way. He killed your sister, didn't he, Vinny? And Vinny's, bleeding out in the corner. But he's like, I can't believe you all are so weak. You're so pathetic. And Paragon goes around and just kills all of them. So no more Republic of Tomorrow, just Paragon. Then we get, how Dick Grayson was trying to buy that circus, theme park, amusement land, whatever. We just get 2 pages on that where Sonia Branch, the daughter of Tony Zuko, shows up and is just like, she's just at Dick's apartment. And of course, there's a 1-panel thing here of how he left out a piece of the Nightwing armor that doesn't come back at all. But regardless, she's basically saying, hey, so here's the deal. We're denying your application for a loan mainly because you were directly involved in that whole thing where Gotham's, like, the circus, Haley's Circus, burnt to the ground and nearly killed a bunch of people. So, yeah, we're just thinking you're a bit of a risk. And Nightwing's just like, this is because of who I am and who your dad is, huh? You can't step out of that shadow. That's why you're denying me? And so Sonya gets all pissed off, and she's like, no, actually, I voted for you. This is a board decision. And the board voted against you. I was with you. But yeah, no, nice to see you're a dick. Bye, Dick. So he leaves, and Nightwing's like, I should have been better about that. So Nightwing goes to the Batcave just trying to use the Bat computers to figure out what he can about Detective Nye's phone. And Damian shows up. And it's just like, hey, so what's going on, man? And Nightwing is basically like, you ever feel like everything you do is just making things worse, like constantly? And Damian's like, no, I'm pretty much perfect in my own way. So sorry you're feeling that way. But basically what this all came out for is that Damian just makes an offhanded comment of like, well, you think I just wear this Robin suit for fun? And Grayson makes the point of like, wait a minute, this is about making statements. That's what this is all about. So we then get a little cut between of multiple stuff here. But the long and short of it is that Dick, he realizes the picture that he had of the two people that he supposedly framed that were missing their tattoos. He found a picture where their tattoos were already gone before they died. So clearly, like, how did that happen? You would imagine they would be removed post-mortem in order to remove any affiliation with this club. And Dick also puts together that Nye isn't the one who's behind all this. He's not actually implicit in anything going on here. But he knows who the Strayhorn brothers really are. We don't get that reveal yet because of the other plot going on, which is Detective Nye is being sat down by Jim Gordon and the deputy mayor and basically saying, hey, look, you're off this Nightwing case. We're putting in other people because you are way too close to this. And he's like, yeah, well, I told you I'd sue. And the deputy mayor's like, no, he's got City Hall on his side, dude. You're not going to sue. What is it with you and not, like, what's going on here? And it turns out that way back in like issue 3, when I can't even remember his name, but the dude with like the claws on his hands was going around and he killed some cops. Turns out that Detective Nye was in love with one of those cops. He was in a relationship with one of them. And as such, he directly blames Nightwing and all the costumed heroes and all that for his lover's death. So that's a thing. But regardless, he's like, all right, you're off the case, Detective Nye, but I'm very sorry to hear about your ex-lover. So then we see Detective Nye in his apartment, and he's just looking at a picture, and then all of a sudden, Paragon shows up behind him, and he's like, oh boy, Detective, do I have a case for you. And that's where we leave off. It's fine, it's good. I mean, I don't dislike it, but like, I don't feel like it's letting me sit with anything, you know? Like the whole Detective Nye thing, maybe I was supposed to get it earlier. Maybe I was supposed to be like, oh yeah, no, Detective Nye, he seems like a good suspect. But like by the time that Nightwing's already bringing it up that he is a suspect, like 2 pages later, he's just like, nah, turns out he isn't because of this other thing that the audience couldn't possibly have known. I don't know. It's also, I'm not getting the feel of like, what is Paragon actually working for here? I know the vague, like, oh, costumed heroes are ruining Gotham. But, like, specifically, like, what's the end goal here? He's just kind of a vague, oh, Nightwing is evil. And that is enough to make a paramilitary organization? I don't know. I'm not quite getting the goal of this real quick. I think we lost the original pitch of Nightwing was framed for murder in a sea of, like, 40 other things. So overall, though, I would give this one a 6.5. Art is actually pretty good throughout. There is some problem with Nightwing's face over the course of the first half of the issue, but it gets worked out later on. But yeah, no, it's just okay. I don't have anything that horrible to say about it, but it's also not blowing my hair back. It's just a very average issue overall.